We are live. It is the Southbound coming at you where all roads lead to the south, and we are heading out with a big one this evening. Joining me tonight is the usual guest, and I'm not going to give a smart or quippy intro because the subject we're touching on first, gents, is actually quite a very serious one. So if you'll just entertain me for a second while I read a few things, I'm going to throw up this ticker banner at the bottom. For people watching or people who are going to watch in the future, just take your time reading it, even if you feel it's not affecting you or anyone you know. The stuff on these websites is truly worth a read. So, for our American listeners and people from the America side of the world, if you are struggling with mental health, for example, like Braden Smith and who we're going to talk about, because obviously he's a big part of the cults, if you are struggling or someone you know you feel is struggling, please call 988. That's for our American listeners. They're 24/7, 365, and they have qualified counsellors to help you out. And also, if you are in emergency mental health crisis, do ring 911 and explain your situation. You don't have to wait. Don't feel like there's a tick box. Don't feel like there's somebody on the other side saying this isn't serious. If you feel it's serious, regardless of the situation, regardless if you just knocked a couple over and you feel like that's the last straw, please bring them. And just for our UK listeners and people in the area we live in this part of the world, there are a few different services. Obviously, I know a bit more about these because they are ours. So obviously, the obvious one, guys, 999. If you're struggling, ring 999. If you feel you just need to talk to someone, 111, or call the Samaritans on 116 123. Or for those under 19, this is important. So if you are under 19 in the UK, text shout SHOUT to 85258 to the Shout Crisis text line, and they will get back in touch with you straight away. But also in the UK, it goes to ring 999 or 111. They are the important ones. Again, there's no tick box, there's no form you have to fill out. If you are struggling and you feel like it is important, call them numbers. Even message the show if you're struggling, and if you feel like you don't want to speak to anyone, message the show, and we can give you this information. All the information is in the description below. With that being said, as you can see, the first part of the show is very heavy, so just remind yourself that that information's there for you. Gents, a big interview, and I believe a big progressive step forward for health and men's mental health. The phrase it cons me a bit because it's used as a political football, and I don't want it to be that. But to see someone like Braden Smith, who wouldn't be the usual picture of someone suffering from mental health issues, to come out and speak so openly about it with his partner, Courtney, it's refreshing that it doesn't just feel like a exercise.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it was very, very sombering stuff when that article broke this week, and you know it feels great to open tonight's show with a spotlight on that. I think as as sports fans, we often view sportsmen and sportswomen as these invincible characters, and I think this very much shows that it's okay to not be okay. And first and foremost, wonderful to hear that Braden is in a better place, and of course is now going to be able to be a father again, a son again, a brother again, and if he wants to be a football player again, great. But family is more important than football, right?
Yeah, we've always said, I'll let Ed have his say as well, but we've always said, especially even when it comes to, I suppose it starts with Anthony Richardson and his physical health, and he talks about not being able to walk, or he had to crawl around and had to ring, like, football is fun. It's meant to be fun, believe it or not. Even though we're Coles fans, football is meant to be fun. I know it hasn't felt like that the last year or two, but it is meant to be fun. And if you're physically struggling, that's one thing that can be quite visible and can be easy to spot. And we always prioritise health. Yeah, I couldn't give a fuck about Lombardis or Super Bowl rings. It doesn't matter. As the famous Doc Hudson in Cars says, it's just an empty cup. You know, but when it comes to Braden and mental edge, mental things can be a lot harder to spot. The mental signs of going into a mental health crisis, and I've worked with young adults, 16 to 18, and our big advice was from the support services was it never has to be something big. It's not something big that will make someone go into crisis, and don't feel like you have to wait until they're in crisis to help them.
Yeah, I just want to say first and foremost that when I read the article, it was a real harrowing read. And first and foremost, I want to say that I'm pleased to hear that the human being is doing okay, because ultimately that's the most important thing. Like we say, like Nathan said, if he plays football again, great. But as a human being, I'm really pleased to hear that he's okay, because ultimately that is the most important thing. I think it's powerful, just picking up on your point there about you don't it's not your average, you might not think that a 6'6", 300 pound person, this image we have in our head, and I want to be careful about how I use my words here, about this sort of macho man that is invincible. But mental health can strike anybody at any time, and it's not a sign of weakness. It doesn't mean you're any less of a human being. It doesn't make you any different. It doesn't make you any worse. It can make you feel those things, but it is an illness like anything else. And it's very difficult, to your point there, Harrison, it's very difficult to identify because you don't know what other people are going through. And one of the big things and the stigma around mental health is that people try and hide it because they don't want to admit that they have a problem, because that then is maybe opening themselves up and showing a weakness, which people don't want to do. And that's where the stigma comes in. I'm not saying that any of that's right. I'm just saying that's part of why there is a stigma around mental health. And that's why I thought that this article from a professional football player is so powerful for a lot of people around the world to see this, to say, actually, like Nathan said, it is okay to not be okay. And when you're not okay, it's okay to go and get help. Mental health, it is an illness, and it doesn't matter whether you're a millionaire or whether you've got nothing. It strikes exactly the same. Now, what makes it difficult is that if you break your leg and you go to the doctors and you say, look, I've got a broken leg, and they look at it and go, oh yeah, okay, well, we can do this and we can fix it. The problem with mental health issues is that everybody's different and everybody needs different treatments. Everybody responds differently. Some people find it easy to talk. Some people find it easier one-on-one. Some people find it easier to talk to a close one. Some people find it easier to talk to a complete stranger. The important thing to remember is that there is help there for anybody. So don't ever suffer in silence. If you are struggling, just please have the confidence to speak to somebody and get the help that you need, because the help is out there if you want it. And I think that's the most important thing that we can hopefully try and convey tonight, is that first of all, it is okay to feel that way. We're human beings, we have emotions. And again, I want to be careful with my words. I'm not calling mental health an emotion, but there are going to be times in your life when you may struggle with certain things, and it's absolutely okay to go and get help if that's the case. And it's absolutely okay to feel that way, and it's important to remember that getting that help isn't a sign of weakness at all. It's actually really important, and it shows that, look, we're all human beings at the end of the day. We all need to look after ourselves, and ultimately your health is the most important thing you've got. Mm-hmm. And I really hope that that as a human being, that he continues to get the help and support that he feels that he needs, or when he needs it, and that it's available, but also that people out there who watch this, anybody watching this or watches it back, knows that there is help and support out there, and that it is okay to not be okay. And that's kind of where I wanted to kind of focus.
Yeah, and so I think you raise a very important point there, and that is it's one pill doesn't fit all. What works for someone might not work for you. You know, you don't just take an antidepressant and you're fine, and that's it. You're done. For me, mental health is never been about you're either well or unwell. It's a constant. Again, make the wrong term, but it's a constant battle. Battle makes it sound like I'm struggling. I'm okay, but a constant. It's a constant balancing act. I suppose is the right thing. You know, everyone can have good days. Everyone can have bad days. Someone cuts you up in traffic, and it can be the end of the world. I think it's important to spot for yourselves. I think it's important to spot when it starts being the little things that start having a bigger effect. As soon as the littler things start having the bigger effect, that's when you need to think, you know, if you can't step away from the situation and it constantly plays on your mind, you need to speak to someone. And that can be someone you know, but if you don't want to speak to someone you know, then it can be one of these services that we've put out here for you guys. And like I say, it's not going to be you ring this number, they give you a magic pill, and you never have a mental health problem ever again. It's like many struggles in life that it's a constant battle, but find someone to fight that battle with and find someone to fight that battle for. Because if you don't want to fight it for yourself, do it for the person you love, do it for the person below you, above you, do it for watching the Colts another day, right? I think I'd just like to also, you know, to emphasise this. Norwich Football Club released it's not an ad because it's not advertising anything. It's a campaign about mental health. I've not actually got the video on here, but please go and watch Norwich Football Club. It's for American viewers. It's a soccer club over here, and it's a very hard-hitting advert. And just go and watch it. And see how you feel, and speak to your mates. You know, when you're in the pubs, make it. You know, you don't have to be, oh, mental health this, mental health that, but just ask your mates, are they okay? And when they look at you in a weird way and go, fuck off, you go, yeah, but seriously, is everyone all right? Is there anything anyone wants to, you know, bring out? Anyone, you know, look at Declan Rice's free kick. I just had to throw that in there because I'm an Arsenal fan. I still can't get over it. But it's important to speak with your mates about these things, is what I'm trying to say. Because the more people talk about it, the more people feel it's okay to get help, because that's also heavily stigmatized. That's all I have for this section, boys. Like I say, it's quite a hard-hitting, heavy section. If you two have anything else to add, please feel free. If not, we'll take half a minute just to get a glass of water or just break it up a bit. And then we'll move into the mock draft simulator, which I hope you're all ready for.
Yeah, I think I think we've said all we need to say, really. And just to echo you, mate, you know, talk to your friends, be nosy. If something doesn't feel right, it's probably not. So don't just turn a blind eye to it.
Yeah,
Right.
I totally agree with that, Nathan. And also, just to echo that as well, you know, if you notice a change, you know, I'm sure we're all part of lots of WhatsApp groups. If you notice a friend hasn't been messaging a lot lately, you know, a little text here or there can go a long way. And just look after yourself, fellas, and don't be ashamed to ask for help.
Yeah. We're just going to take a mini break now. I'm going to reserve myself. And Nathan, Ed, if I'm not back in by the time the countdowns, feel free to talk about the Matt Gay situation and him being released, because I think that is a big talking point.
Yeah, that's fine, man.
See you all in a sec.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, so Harrison's not back. Welcome back, everyone. So yes, Ed, let me pose a question to you then. So around 3 or 4 hours ago, Indianapolis released its kicker, Matt Gay. What's your immediate reaction to that?
I was a bit shocked, to be honest with you. I didn't see it coming. I know there was a little bit of, obviously the whole way that last year went, and anything sort of over 50 he couldn't make. I know he had a few injury issues, but I must admit it wasn't a move that I saw coming. What about yourself? I would like to say it was more of a kind of wow, okay. Colts really are looking to make changes this offseason.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say I was shocked. I think the Matt Gay contract has been so bad. I always thought it was one that Ballard just had to see out. He kind of had to stay close to that one and be the publicist of it almost. But when you're a kicker making the money that Matt was in a dome stadium, still missing kicks inside 50, on a regular basis, I don't think you can continue. If you want to be a team that is striving to save 3 people's jobs. I think what's even more interesting is the Colts are going into the next few months with only Spencer Schrader on the roster, a guy who has been cut and re-signed from the practice squad more than most phone screens are even going to be able to show you. So good luck to young Spencer. Let's hope he's got a bit of a leg on him.
Either that
welcome
or
back,
Shane is
Carson.
Either that or Shane is just planning on going for it on 4th down every single time. Like next year, we're just not going to have a kicking game. We're just going to just go for it every time.
They're really desperate now. But Harrison, just to bring you back in, mate, what's your immediate reaction to Indianapolis cutting kicker Matt Gay?
Blindsided? Is that the right term?
Yeah, it's pretty consistent.
Yeah, and I don't think it's because I thought he was good. I think after he had his spinal injury, he's just not been the kicker we know he can be. I think the blindside comes from it's very un-Chris Ballard.
Yeah.
And, I know there's it's probably not going to go down great, and I'm not saying I want him, but I know the other young ex-Georgia Bulldog and Colts kicker who's currently in the XFL.
He missed his first kick in the XFL, I think.
But it'd be cheap. What I'm saying. I think this is potentially the year we draft a kicker.
I hope not. I really hope not. But
to cut your kicker this close to the draft is not saying. I'm not saying we go high with it. Probably 7th if he recoups a couple of picks.
I don't know if I'm sure we'll get on to this in more detail, but when you're trying to make a team that wants to win the division and what wants to give Anthony or Daniel the best chance they've got, I wouldn't feel comfortable putting a rookie in there. There's plenty of vet kickers out there. Let's bring one in. Bring back Chase McLaughlin.
Yeah. This did not get wrong for a while, got rid of. Was Chase McLaughlin the honey badger? Is that right? Oh, God. I'm trying to think.
I think you're actually right there.
We've had a
like
wide
a mystery,
variety.
wasn't he?
So after Vinatieri, it was Blankenship, wasn't it? He completely failed. Then it was. I'm trying to think. Then I think it was Chase McLaughlin. Then Matt Gay. I feel like there's a couple more in there that I'm missing, but
yeah. No, can't see that he has that nickname. I've just googled it now, but he's currently kicking for Tampa Bay, so I can't see him coming back to wearing blue.
Right. Shall we get into the mock draft situations? Gentlemen, I'm going to give you both a mock draft, maybe a couple if we have time. You are in the war room on draft day. This is like the film draft day, apart from hopefully P. Diddy doesn't show up, but you know, we can
get the baby oil out.
Yeah, we can hopefully. Apart from him, good film. Is all I'm saying. Anyway, I'm going to give you the chance to, before the draft starts, to propose a trade if you want to trade up. If not, just tell me to start your draft. But it moves pretty fast, so tell me if you want to trade up beforehand, and we'll try and trade up. And then I'll obviously, when it gets to the Colts pick, I'll tell you who's gone and what's gone and who's available. Or you can even trade back. So who would like to go first?
How many rounds are we doing, Harrison?
Just doing one round. It's just the first round.
Yeah, first round. Yeah, okay. I'm easy,
Yeah.
Nathan. It's up to you, man.
So I'm going to be boring and I'm going to stick at 14. So I think if you want to trade up, Ed, I think you should go first, so we can see what strategy you've got.
No, I'll be honest with you. I would stand pat as well at 14. I don't think that I'd be willing to trade up on this one. So if you want to go
let's
first,
see
man.
who goes. Yeah, go on. I'll go first, and let's see who goes, and maybe we'll pick the 4 number of 9 or 10, dependent.
What was that? Sorry.
Yeah, I'll go first.
So, like I say, it moves quick, but I'll tell you who's going as they go.
Okay.
Cameron Ward, Membu, Campbell, Carter, Hunter, McMillan, Graham, Johnson, Slanders, Genty, Walker, Green, Stewart. Colts up at 14. Now, you do have a trade offer, Nathan. To trade back to 22 with the Chargers, you recoup pick 22, pick 55, and the 2026 second. You can counter, accept, or reject.
I am going to accept that offer.
Okay.
I would accept that offer immediately if I was in the war room. And I'm going to cross my fingers that my backup player is still available.
Okay.
Accept that trade. Dial it in.
I've told the commissioner. They've taken Warren, Williams, Banks, Golden, Barron, Harmon, Loveland's just gone, Starks has gone. So you have a few trade offers, but I don't. Do you want to trade further back than 22?
No, we're gonna make a pick here.
Okay, so we're picking at 22. Right. So do you want me to run through who's gone so far?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if it lets me, because I should have let this out earlier, but. Okay, so I would tell you he's gone so far, but it is not letting me work it out. But if you ask for someone, then I can tell you they're available or not.
Okay, cool. So there's a few players that are kind of like going through my head. And let's pretend we are in a war room. So we have 10 minutes. We can chill, we can relax, we can talk about it, right?
Yeah.
So some players that are going through my head is Jardy Barron, the cornerback from Texas. Jalen Walker, the edge from Tampa Bay. I'm not sure if you said he was taken.
Yeah. You keep talking. I'm gonna see if I can get the thing.
And I'm also really, really open to Tyler Booker from Alabama, the guard. If he's free, I'm probably locking it in.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like I said, so just give me the other two names. I'll search it. For some reason, it won't let me find who's gone already. So, if you just give me the other two names, I'll see if they're available.
Yeah. So, the three names were Tyler Booker, guard, Alabama.
Yeah.
Jalen Walker, edge, Georgia. And Jardy Barron, cornerback, Texas.
God, I'll use. This is a good start.
Jahh
Jahh
Dae.
So the only one available is Booker.
Oh wow!
Do you want me to read out some other names?
Yes, please. Yeah.
So the sort of top 7 prospects it's giving me now is Nick Emanwari, safety from South Carolina, Booker, guard, Jihad Campbell, Josh Simmons, Walter Nolan, Graves DeBell.
Wait, Jihad Campbell's still available?
Yeah, Jihad Campbell's still
Lock it in. Lock it in. I'm taking Campbell. I thought you said he was gone. Lock in Campbell, man. Want to trade back. We traded back. We got our guy. And we've got an extra second next year. Lock that pick in.
Good choice.
Full results. So now I can see who's been drafted. I'll go for you were a bit of a test, so I'll go for a bit slower on the next one if I can. So looking at the big board, it gives me a grade somewhere. I can find this, don't you worry. My draft. No, it doesn't. I'm thinking of a different one. But anyway, yeah, so you got obviously Cam Ward going number 1 overall to Tennessee. You traded back with the Chargers, who took Tyler Warren at 14. So all of Indianapolis now hates you, Nathan.
I'd be. We better hope this doesn't go viral.
So Jalen Walker went early. He went at 11. Genty went 10. Pretty standard stuff. I would just like to clarify as well. So Campbell did go, but it was Will Campbell, offensive tackle, to New York.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
I heard Campbell, but I assumed it was
So just for reference, so people could sort of gauge where I am. I'm using Pro Football Network's mock draft simulator, and like I say, I have no controlling over this simulations. I can't. I just literally select Colts and off we go. One second, and then Ed, I'll give you a little second. You've got a little second to think now, so you've seen how quick it goes. There we go. I can change that too.
So it should go into my go.
Let's enter and pause. Okay, Ed, you staying at 14?
I am staying at 14. Yeah, I'm not moving.
Staying at 14. Okay, so this should go a bit slower, and let's see how it goes. Okay, Cameron Ward, gone. Number 1, that's popular. Will Campbell to the Cleveland. Mbemu, attempted tackle to New York. Carter to Patriots. Hunter to Jacksonville. Walker, Jalen Walker to Raiders. Sanders to the Jets. Mason Graham to Bengals. They've traded up. McMillan to Saints. Genty to Chicago. Cornerback to Will Johnson. Cornerback to San Francisco. Shamir Stewart, edge to Dallas. And Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle to Dolphins. The phone's ringing. You have 3 trade offers for this pick. You have Green Bay 23.54 this year. You have Arizona offering 16 this year and their 3rd round next year. And then you have, then you have Philadelphia offering pick 32, pick 64, pick 96 this year, and also their 2nd and 3rd next year. Now, I'm gonna step in here because that is just not realistic. Okay,
5 picks.
They must really like someone. Can we do that just to see who they're taking? Because I want to know who they're so desperate to move. Because you would, wouldn't you? You'd take that. Like, I'm sorry, but who are they Who are they that desperate for? We can rerun it again afterwards, but I need to know who Philly are that hot on.
Harrison, before you accept it, making notes for the Twitter account. What were Philly offering? 32? 64?
I don't know. Yeah, so pick 32, pick 64, and pick 96 this year. Yeah. And then their 2nd and 3rd next year.
Who are they? I just want to know who. I just want to know who they want. Because if they want that player, then we should want that player too. Like, really, because they're based on their sort of draft history.
So
go on, who did they?
Pure vibes. I'm going to accept that trade.
Yeah,
they
100%.
wanted Tyler Warren. Wow. Right. So then Mikael Williams, Matthew Golden gone, Malachi Starks to Seattle, Jardy Barron to Tampa, Ibuku to Denver, Loveland Steelers, Jihad Campbell going to the Chargers, Tyler Booker to Green Bay, Pierce Jr. to Vikings, Gray Zabel to the Texans. They won't take a guard, they take a tackle. Josh Simmons to Patriots. Scroton to the Baltimore Ravens. Harmon to Detroit. Burden the 3rd to Washington. Walter Neuland to Buffalo. Are you trading back from 32?
No. I'll pick. I've waited that long.
Yeah, you're not going full Chris Ballard.
No. Yeah, I'm just going to keep trading into next year.
And then Kansas City took Omarin Hampton, running back, at 31. You are up at 32.
So I think, to be honest, this guy is a borderline round 2 pick anyway, which pick 32 essentially is. I've looked extensively at the needs in our roster, and there are a few, and I can't look beyond. So when I looked at it, I thought O-line, tight end, linebacker. Those are what I think the Colts need to focus on to begin with. And I thought, which room needs most attention out of all of them? I think O-line, I'd be comfortable if the O-line started as it is today. I could live with it. I do think it needs help, but the tight end room has to be upgraded. Now, Warren and Loveland would have both gone.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the 3rd guy. I'm going to go Mason Taylor out of LSU.
Nice.
Mason Taylor out of LSU.
With an absolute haul to back it up afterwards. And then I will address the other needs
you know what? If that somehow comes off on draft night, then I'm happy taking the third best tight end at the end of round one if we recruit that many picks, because, like I say, I don't think that was. I mean, Nathan Ed got absolutely nice by the draft simulator there. You've got some work to do. Catch up, mate.
I mean, yeah. Ed picks one of my dream round 2 players if the Colts don't draft a tight end. In fact, I actually hope Ballard trades up to get Mason if he doesn't take Warren. So, yeah, I mean, Ed, I could see you smiling when I turned in Jihad Campbell, and I was smiling. I all trade, so maybe we are the missing link to the Colts going 17-0 again.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I was fully prepared to sit at 14 and take Tyler Warren. And again, I wouldn't be unhappy if the Colts do that on draft night, if Tyler Warren gets to 14. But when Philadelphia are offering you, like you said, I don't know how realistic that is. But yeah, I would be happy with Mason Taylor as well. Like you said, Nathan, I would be. I think any one of those 3 tight ends, I think the Colts need to take.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I'm going to snake back now, give you both more one each, and then we can just end out with just draft talk, because that's what's coming up. Maybe a few under the radar prospects the Colts are looking at. So Ed, let's. I mean, you never know, right? Who's the Eagles GM? Is it Howie Roseman?
Howie Roseman.
He likes to do some crazy things. He likes to do some mental things. So you never know, Ed. You never know.
You never know, mate. You're right.
I'll tell you what, put a tenner on it. And if it comes in, we're all going to Indianapolis Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll try again. Ed, same rules apply, mate. Let me know if you want to trade up. Let me know if you want to sit. And
Ed, should we do one when where we trade up?
Well,
should we both run it?
I've thought about it, but I don't know who I would trade up for. That's the only. Yeah, I mean.
So, in that case, if you want a second to think, I'm ready to break.
If you've got a scenario in your head, then go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it, because I'm intrigued to see who you would be trading up for. I'm really interested.
So Nathan, just to let you know, I have no control on whether these get accepted or not, and we can't trade players with this website we're using. It's just picks for. So if I propose a trade, who are you trading up with?
The Las Vegas Raiders at 6, please.
It's a big jump. So you can offer anything from this year and anything for next year as well.
Let's send obviously our 1.
Yep.
Our 2, and then a 2 next year as well. Let's see if they accept.
Right. Just for their 6?
Yeah.
Okay, let's propose it. Nah, they've rejected it, mate.
Okay, so, I thought I was giving up way too much for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bit hard when you can't throw players in. I'm not gonna like. But
okay.
Yeah.
No, I guess it's realistic. They won't pick the 4 now. Okay, let's see if we can go. Let's see if Carolina take that at 8.
Carolina. What you want to same first, second?
Yeah.
for just their 8.
Yeah.
That's been accepted, mate. You have moved up in the draft.
Okay, let's run it.
Right, so running the simulation now. Again,
Nathan trade up is Colts send 14, second round and 2026 second for Carolina 8. Okay, let's go.
So again, these are random generated mock drafts. They're all different, slightly different, ranging from slightly different to really variably different. So let's go. Titans, Ward. Cleveland take Will Campbell, offensive tackle. New York take Membu, offensive tackle. Carter to Patriots. Travis Hunter to Jags. McMillan to Raiders. Shador Sanders to New York Jets. Nathan, you are up. You do have trade offers if you wanted to do the hokey cokey.
What are the offers?
So Cincinnati are offering their first, second, and third this year and a second next year. Carolina want their pick back. Apparently, they're going to give you 14 straight back, and the second and 114. So what's that? Fifth, fourth, and San Francisco are offering you their first and second this year.
Okay, I'm going to decline to trade back, and I am going to draft running back.
Yes, I like
Ashton Jean T.
Yeah, I like it.
Boise State. I'm bringing Ashton to the Loud House, boys.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
I am a big fan of that. If that happened on draft night, mate, I'd be buzzing.
What about you, Ed?
I like the player. I do like the player a lot. And when I said there's not a player, that is a player that I would, because I do think the Colts need to draft a running back this year, regardless. I really do think that they should. And he is by far the best. What did you give up to get him?
Too much. I gave up our first round, second round, and a 2026 second. So actually, I'm quite happy with that.
Okay. So first and second this year.
Yeah.
I mean, Ashton Genty he's a playmaker. He's gonna win. He's gonna win games.
So I'm just
imagine that.
Go on, you.
Go on. No, you go.
My thoughts are: imagine that offense with Richardson, Jonathan Taylor, and Ashton Jean T.
Oh, man.
So just to give you a few highlights, people the Colts are looking at taking. Warren went 14, makes sense. Jalen Walker went 13, Starks 15. That's right about where we are. Loveland going 20. I still personally think 20 is too high for a second round tight end, if I'm being completely honest. And that's about a Jihad Campbell went 25. There's no chance he's falling to 25. But yeah, so I'll restart with the same questions. Ed, are you trading up for?
Yeah. Okay.
Let me just get in the room. And okay, give me your best trade.
So a team I think who might be willing to trade, they might be willing to trade out of fourth, is the New England Patriots.
Oh,
now,
yeah. There we go.
So Oh, go big or go home. So obviously they're going to have to take they take pick 14. See if they'll accept. See if they'll accept. Pick 14, our third from this year, and a second from next year. See if they'll accept that.
So just to double check, 14 are round 3 this year, and then the round 2nd next year.
Yes.
Yeah, just for their number 4.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
No, they've locked out the ring, mate. Gonna try again.
See if I want the pick now, because there's 1 or 2 players there. chuck in next year's 3rd round as well, and let's just throw the boat at it.
So 1st and 3rd, 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah.
For their 4th. No, they're
not moving. Okay. See, I don't think Jacksonville would at pick 5.
Not to us.
Actually, let's see if New York will take it at 3. If New England won't, just come on.
If you can't go down, go up.
Yeah.
This is going to have to be a monster offer. So, 1st from this year.
1st, 3rd, 2nd. Just go with my original offer first, see if they'll accept that.
1st, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd. Is that what you wanted to give?
A 1st and a 3rd this year, and a 2nd next year, ideally. But if they won't take it, just chuck a 3rd in as well.
No.
No one's moving.
I'll try a 1st, a 3rd, a 2nd, and a 3rd. See if they accept that, but no. But you're gonna have to propose something massive if you want to get in that top 5, mate.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody worth trading up into that top. Anything more than that, I think that's already more than I'd be willing to give up. So let's see if we can just try this last one, and then if not, I'm just going to stick. Try 1st and 2nd this year, and a second next year. Try both New England and New York. See if you get any bites on that. So 1st and 2nd this year, and next year's 2nd round.
So I'll try in New England first because they're higher. So more chance. 1st and 2nd this year.
Yeah.
Just for their 1st round, yeah.
Yeah.
New England have said nah.
Yeah.
I'll try New York with this last one. If not, you stay where you are.
I'll stay where I am, yeah. That's already more than I'm...
No, they've rejected it. So
no, stick then. We will stick.
We'll stick, and we will let the board run. Cameron Ward, no surprise. Will Campbell, again, no surprise, although they do need a quarterback, Cleveland, I would say. Graham, Abdul Carter, Membu, Will Johnson, Sanders.
Whoa. Stop. Can you stop it?
Yeah, so I just got to it as Jalen Walker's just been drafted by the Saints. The next team up is Chicago.
Is Travis Hunter still on the board?
He's just gone to Carolina.
Ah, missed you say that one. Okay, let it roll. He fell far there. If I'd have thought he was going to fall that far, he's a player I would trade up for, even though we don't need either position.
Okay, so you do actually have the Jags want you to trade out of the 1st, and that's the only offer you've got.
And I'll be trading with them.
No, but them. Right, so you're up. The last 3 to go was McMillan to San Francisco at 11, Genty to Dallas at 12, and Kelvin Banks Jr. to Miami at 13.
So I will do the boring and obvious pick, and I will trade for Trey Hendrickson. No, sorry, I will take Tyler Warren. Please.
Tyler Warren, that makes sense. If he falls to 14, you take him.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, I'll let that run out, but that is the last one of this episode done. I don't think there's going to be any surprises in that now. So, yeah. How do you think that went? How do you think you did? Can you evaluate yourselves at GM?
Who's going first?
I love your aggressiveness. So I'm going to let you go first because I love that.
Look, like the second one's a bit of a joke, right? If Ballard does that, I'm sure there'd be absolute uproar versus pandemonium and excitement. If draft night happens like the first scenario, where I traded back with the LA Chargers, went back to pick 22, fill a huge need with Jihad Campbell, linebacker from Alabama, pick up an extra second this year and an extra second next year, I will genuinely have zero complaints. Zero complaints. The fact that we'll be able to fill potentially 2 huge holes in the second round, for example, O-line and tight end, or if I'm the GM, I package those 2s up and I go get Mason Graham at the top of the second. So, yeah, I'm all in for Ash and G&T. No, I'm not. I'm happy with the outcome there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think mine was possibly the other way around. I think my first one with that offer from Philadelphia is probably very unlikely to happen. But again, I'd be happy with it, of course, because I took it. I think realistically, as has been sort of the most mocked player to the Colts, I felt that one of us had to do the do the thing and take Tyler Warren, because he is consensus the best tight end in the class. He fills a massive hole on our roster, and it makes sense to take him. If though, I agree with Nathan. I think that if the offer comes in to trade back, and you can pick up a player like Jihad Campbell or Colson Loveland or gamble and wait for Mason Taylor, who I think the Colts will have to trade up in the second, because I don't think he'll fall as far as when we're picking again in second, then you probably consider doing that if somebody really wants to get ahead of us. But I'm interested to see what Ballard does in this draft, because so far he's been a little bit different this offseason, hasn't he? He said he was going to be, and he kind of has. So I wonder if the Colts might just blow it all up and go all in for Genty. They might just move all their chips in and go for Travis Hunter, or, knowing Ballard, he won't be able to help himself and go for Abdul Carter and just take the best edge rusher and just sell the house to get him in. So I'm interested. I really think draft night, and I think we spoke about this last week, it could go any one of about 1,000 different directions with the Colts. Yeah. And that's what makes it interesting.
That's it for the main show. Just to end out then, the Colts have been doing their due diligence. I think it's fair to say they've been speaking to a couple of quarterbacks, as one of you two put in the group. I can't remember. I think it might have been Nathan. I mean, the simple question is why, if we've gone and signed Danny Dimes? Is it just we have to do it? Is there actually genuine interest in these does Chris Ballard think that Quinn Ewers or the other fella are going to fall far enough to just pick up in the third, fourth?
I don't mind starting with this one. So I think there is genuine interest in Quinn Ewers out of Texas. The Colts and the Colts brass have now met with him twice. Unless that's a complete smoke screen and they're doing it on purpose, who knows? But for me, Quinn Ewers is more between rounds 5 and 7. I really don't think we need to be taking him in the third. If we do that, that's tragedy, in my opinion. So, if it's a 5th or a 6th or a 7th round pick, then I understand it. He's the third QB on the roster, and someone that they've clearly fallen in love with. So, I think it is a reality, but I my heart says that's a 6th or 7th round pick.
Yeah,
I agree. I'd be surprised if the Colts drafted anybody higher than the 6th round. But I have read a few articles from people who are much more in the know than I am, saying that it's a distinct possibility. So let's wait and see. I think it's perfectly normal to do your due diligence on players at a position such as that, just to see what you've got. There are a lot of quarterbacks maybe in that sort of lower round section of the draft this year. Some might even go undrafted, so it's probably good to have at least have had them in the building, do a little bit of research. But yeah, I'd be surprised if they took anybody before the 6th round, and I'm not against it. Who knows? We might end up with Brock Bowers 2.0. You don't know. The QB competition is won by the 7th round quarterback we haven't even got in the building yet. Who knows?
Well, I mean, like I say, just to recap then, because the first part of the show was a very heavy, hard-hitting part of the show. And please check the video description for all the links there for any help you may need or feel someone needs. It is available. Go and look. The second part of the show, Ed managed to Del Boy and Rodney his way through Philadelphia and come out with a magician hat of picks. So fair play to him. And Nathan managed to get Nathan managed to get Jihad Campbell to fall so far in the draft, which is nice. But you heard it here first. Nathan's quoted it, so come and attack him when it doesn't go this way. That's selling the farm for Ashton Genty. We've been southbound. 3 Colts fans just trying to make sense of the AFC South, the crazy division that it is. Thank you, everyone, for watching. See you all later.
Bye.